Chase Briscoe delivers a dominating performance at Darlington with over 309 laps led, but was it a good race? That's the question we're going to chew on next. Well, hi folks, welcome back to Racin-n-Braisin. I am CJ, a lifelong NASCAR fan and chef, and boy, do we have a lot to chew on after Darlington. Today, we are going to recap the race and give a playoff update. We'll throw in a quick SVG minute before we put a thumb on the race, catch up on the news you may have missed this weekend, and then finally, we'll round things out with our cooking segment where I tell you about my experience with boiled peanuts. So let's dive right on into it. Well, Darlington delivered something, that's for sure. Chase Briscoe absolutely dominated this race. He led 309 laps total on his way to victory and securing a spot into the next round of the playoffs. Tyler Reddick was right there with him all night long. It could be argued for sure that if the alternator issues that were developing for Briscoe got any worse and he lost power, Tyler Reddick was going to run away with this race and win it. However, in the final stint, it definitely looked like Erik Jones and John Hunter Nemechek were the better cars on the long runs. They came alive in the last 15 to 20 laps of the race. Unfortunately, we saw the NextGen car rear its ugly head on a single groove track. We've complained about this all season long. When the cars can't move around and find other grooves, they can't make passes, and that's exactly what we saw tonight. The top four in that final stint, with 20 laps to go, were all within a second and a half of each other, and you thought for sure that Jones and John Hunter Nemechek, with the charge that they were making, were going to contend for the win. Unfortunately, they just got stalled out with the NextGen car. It's frustrating. Frustrating for sure. And even though it was really hard to pass on track, there were a lot of passes being made on pit road this weekend. And the mistakes that were made on pit road were absolutely amplified for all of the playoff drivers. It seemed like everybody had some sort of pit road issue or got into the wall a little bit or made some sort of mistake that cost them. Pit road was definitely the focus for the night and definitely where most of the drama happened throughout the night. Carson Hocevar got spun around on pit road by Christopher Bell. That caused damage. That spin blocked Ryan Blaney into his box, and he was never able to recover. Alex Bowman on a green flag stop somewhat early in the night, 40 seconds. They had an air hose issue, and that just, wow, absolutely imploded. Devastating. Put them 2 laps down. They were able to recover one of the laps on the night. Some of the key storylines that we saw throughout the night, early, of course, lap 1, turns 1 and 2. Josh Berry gets loose coming off of 2, spins in front of the field. He kind of sideswiped Tyler Reddick a little bit, who got into the wall and made basically the save of his career, if not the year for sure, and drove away from that one with a big old donut on his driver's side door. Bowman was involved in that little scuffle early. Ryan Blaney got turned around on a restart. That was unfortunate. They had obviously a rough night, and the strategies throughout the night were pretty much the same, which was disappointing because practice, we saw a 3-second fall off in practice, and yeah, that's what we saw throughout the race. So I was hoping as a fan that we were going to see more movement on track, and that just wasn't the case. So we did see one team play a different pit strategy than everybody else at the end of the race. That was SVG and the 88 team. They decided to go with a one-stop strategy in the final stage. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. What could have ended up netting them a top 20 finish right after their one pit stop on the final stage, caution came out literally 3 laps after that and trapped them 2 laps down end up finishing 32nd on the night. So let's take a look at the playoff picture here. As we can see, of course, with Chase Briscoe getting the win, he's going to advance to the next round and be locked in. He doesn't have to worry about the next two races. Just go out there and try and get more points. That's going to be their focus for sure. Now below the cut line, Joey Logano, who had a really rough night, is now below it. Austin Dillon's still down there. Bowman is down there with Josh Berry as well. They're both minus 19, so pretty big hole going into Gateway. SVG was plus 19 before we started this race, now only plus 3 and in 12th, just above the cut line. Speaking of SVG, let's go ahead and talk about his night in our weekly SVG Minute. He started 20th, which not terrible. They were not going in with high expectations for sure. Before the race, SVG did say this is one of his favorite tracks. And I truly was hoping, with the way the tires wear at Darlington, that he was going to be able to shine. He really showed improvement at Richmond, which is another high tire wear track, but just wasn't the case for them. They ran in the mid-20s most of the race, cracked the top 20 just a couple of times, and scraped the wall about halfway through the race. Lap 184, I believe it was, he reported scraping the wall. It wasn't too terrible, didn't really affect him too much. What really did affect him was, like I said, the final stage. They tried to go with that one-stop strategy, and it just didn't pay out for them. So, uphill battle now going forward. Gateway he has never been to, and Bristol he is admittedly not very good at. So, going to be tough for him to squeak through and maintain my playoff bracket going forward, as I do have him advancing to the next round. All right, well, let's put a thumb on Darlington. This one, unfortunately, I'm going to give a thumb down. Now, you guys know I am rah-rah NASCAR. I try to look at the positives as much as I can and try to give a thumbs up to most of the races. But this one was disappointing for sure. I would say yes, there was plenty of drama, and of course everything was amplified because now we're in the playoffs and we're focusing more on specific drivers, and a lot of those drivers had issues tonight. But a lot of those issues, like I said, were on pit road. The racing product was not good. There wasn't much passing going on the track. It was mostly just single file, follow the leader, stay in that single groove on the track, and that's the best that the NextGen car could do. What I was hoping was going to shape up into a great four-way battle for the lead at the end just stalled out into a sputter. So, unfortunately, Darlington is getting a thumbs down from me. Drop a thumb up or thumb down in the comments below for me and let me know what you guys thought of the race. I am keeping a running tally of it as the season goes on, and here is the updated numbers now for you. With my thumbs down, it does drop it down another percentage point, but still looking at a good season overall. So thank you guys for contributing to thumbs up or thumbs down. Before we dive into the cooking segment of this show, let's wrap the weekend up with the news you may have missed this weekend. Really not too much that went down as we approached the weekend. However, we did see a rule adjustment from NASCAR once again. They're just making it up as they go along. You may have seen during practice and qualifying that all of the playoff drivers were in Group B and were the last to qualify, so that they were all on a even plane. They just threw the metric out the window for all of the playoff guys, basically. So, yeah, good job, NASCAR, adjusting as you go. You know, I'm all for making rational adjustments, but they do this so often, it just becomes comical. How does anybody really know the rules anymore? We do have a silly season update this week. As we know, the number 7 Spire Motorsports car, currently driven by Justin Haley, is hot-ish for sure. He's been performing better as the summer has gone on, so maybe cooling down that seat a little bit. But we know Daniel Suarez out there as a free agent is looking for a ride. And on SiriusXM early in the week, that name was floated as a possible replacement for the 7 car if Haley doesn't get an extension on his contract. The other name that was floated around was Ricky Stenhouse Jr., and Stenhouse took to social media to squash those rumors of him possibly moving around next season. He confirmed that he has a contract through 2026 with Hayek Racing and has no plans of going anywhere. So take Ricky Stenhouse off the list for possible silly season moves. And then finally, not really news of the week, but I do just want to make a quick comment. While we were waiting for the racing from Darlington to unfold, a 6 p.m. start, we had all day to enjoy some racing elsewhere in the world. Kicked off in the morning with F1 from the Netherlands, and that was actually a chaotic race if you guys were watching Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, we were treated to the IndyCar finale from Nashville. Another impressive, chaotic race. The 200 mile an hour around Nashville, only a 1 1/3 mile track, is wild. It's impressive how close they get to each other at those speeds. At any moment, they could touch wheels and things go flying. No doubt, IndyCar is some of the more impressively dangerous racing there is in North America to watch. So, a good full day of racing. I just wanted to make a note about that before we move on. All right, guys, time to talk about how the boiled peanuts worked out for me. I did a little bit of research throughout the week to find out, what's the best method to cook boiled peanuts, and there's a lot of variations. As long as you followed just the basics and stuck to the guide, you could vary it yourself. So I decided to do that. Of course, the chef in me went through a couple of thoughts in my head. So I worked on that. Started by, of course, soaking the peanuts overnight in some water. After the nuts had overnight to soak, I drained them and rinsed them pretty good to get that soaking liquid off of there. It was just water. There was nothing else in it. And went ahead and refilled the pot, got it on the stove top. And I brought it to a boil, but I didn't add any seasonings yet. This was one trick that I found that was common among a lot of the recipes that I looked at. So I let it boil for an hour before I actually started adding my seasonings. The seasonings I'll have in the recipe down below in the description here for you guys. Go ahead and check that out. Included, of course, the Old Bay as the primary driver of the flavoring for sure, but I threw in a bunch of other stuff. Basically kitchen sinked it. Worcestershire, some hot sauce, some apple cider vinegar as kind of some liquidy stuff. Of course, a can of beer included in there as well. And then just a bunch of extra seasonings to throw in and add some more depth of flavor. So let's go ahead and take a look at what I thought of my initial reaction on how I did the seasoning. All right, guys. Well, stage 2 has just ended here, and it's time to get snacking. The boiled peanuts have been on the pot behind me here now for about 3.5 hours. I put them on at 4. Put them on at 4:30. They got boiling at 5. So. I added the seasoning about an hour into the boiling process, and it smells amazing in here. So I'm going to go ahead and get a bowl of these together, and we're going to check to see if they are tender enough and give our first shot at how the seasoning tastes. Whew. Yeah. Smells like being back in Baltimore. Definitely that fantastic Old Bay smell. Be sure to look in the description below. I have a recipe listed of how I did this, how I seasoned it myself. So got a peanut here. They are very hot, of course, because they're right out, but easily splitting open, as you can see. And as I understand, you just okay, not bad. Not offended by it. I think I need a little more liquid in it. needs some more seasoning. So I think I'm going to adjust, add some more seasoning. I'm just not getting much off of it. I'm slightly getting some warmth from the Old Bay, but I feel like it could use some more. So I'm going to adjust. I'm going to add some more salt and probably some more Old Bay to it and let it go for another half hour and try it again. Okay, so I decided to add some more salt after that. I put 2 more tablespoons of salt into the mix and another tablespoon of Old Bay and just let it go for another half an hour. Turn the heat down so it wasn't boiling as hard anymore. The texture of the peanut was fine at that point, and I thought we were ready to serve. It just needed a little more salt. I wasn't really getting much flavor as I tried them out, so that's what I did. And on the second go around, still just not enough flavor in it. So instead of over seasoning the broth, I decided to just kind of sprinkle some salt on the bowl of peanuts that I had for service for myself and utilize the little extra bit of salt on my fingers as I cracked open the nuts to kind of give me that extra kick that I was looking for. Not bad. Boiled peanuts, good little race time snack. Definitely. Say hi, Maverick. That's Maverick. If you guys haven't met her, she's awesome. So boiled peanuts, yes, good race time snack and would highly recommend. Check out the recipe and procedure in the description below. Give it a shot. Not bad, guys. So that's Darlington and some boiled peanuts from South Carolina for you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed what I was able to put together here for you. If you did, go ahead and leave a like for me. Hit that subscribe button. I am just 3 away as we stand from 100. Could that 100 be you? I appreciate all of your help here on Racin-n-Braisin and all of your support. Next up, we have Gateway, and I'll have a preview for you guys on Thursday with everything you need to know. Until then, stay happy.